Horses in the yard for the second at Kalgoorlie. This is the Tom Cullen Memorial Maiden over 1100 metres, and you can scratch number 10, Admiration Bay. We start with a newcomer to the west in Science Degree, who has been well supported at odds as well. Opened up $11, now halved in quote into $5.50. First start for Brett Drury. Clint Johnston. Welcome back to Kalgoorlie for the lucky last here on Coolgardie Cup and Coolgardie Sprint Day. This race is sponsored by Willweld. It's a handicap, 58 plus over a mile. And secret attraction here for Willie Pike and Peter Fernie in the last is 270 into 175. It's a lot of money for secret attraction. But we start up the top with one of her stablemates. It's a Lance, Peter Fernie, Zephyr Johnston Porter, who takes off 2 kilos, 59 after the claim, and is well placed actually, back into a 58 plus. Was a winner of a 62 plus over 1762 starts back. Drops from 2100 back to a mile off a month's freshen up. Should get a nice run along the inside. I thought he was a top 4, top 5 chance here. He's at $23 in fixed odds betting. Number 2, No Whispering for Lucy Fiore and Peter Fernie. Carries 61 kilos with the senior rider going back on and goes from 1300 metres out to a mile for the first time. This horse hasn't raced past 1400, so on a bit of a fact-finding mission here today. Likely to do a bit of work to get across from that middle draw as well. I thought No Whispering might be a little bit vulnerable late, but is kept safe in the market at $7. Number 3, Floppy, who won a couple of races back-to-back at Albany in March of 2024, has had 2 runs this time in, beaten 4 lengths first up, and then thrown in the deep end second up in the Tattersalls Cup behind Uncompromised. The second horse from that race was Red Cadillac, who just ran a placing in today's Coolgardie Cup. So he's back in grade here, Floppy, and goes around at $41. Braden Garth rides for Helen Harding. Number 4, One More for Leo, who's enjoyed a really consistent campaign for Brett Drury. Been up for pretty much the entirety of the season, so has done a lot of racing, this 6-year-old, but his last 5 have all been very consistent. Beaten a head 5 starts ago, beaten a length 4 starts ago, beaten half a length 2 starts ago, and then dropped back to 1300 most recently in a race that was dominated from the front. Is going well. Clint Johnston Porter jumps aboard today, but another wide draw for him to contend with. He's today a $12 chance in betting, One More for Leo. Number 5, Prince Takia, like a lot of John Doyle's, has covered some kilometres. 4 runs this time in. Pinjarra to Kalgoorlie, Kalgoorlie to Marble Bar to Belmont, and now Belmont to Kalgoorlie. So he's done a lot of driving with this horse. Did beat Money for Old Rope in the Marble Bar Cup 2 starts ago, and Money for Old Rope won on both Ladies' Day and Cup Day at Broome to frank that form. But it is dirt form versus grass racing here for Prince Takia. $23 for Brandon Louis. Number 6, More Than Enough, is on the drift here with all the money that's coming for secret attraction. Opened up 370, now out to 550 and pushing each way. This horse has had 2 runs on the Goldfield since arriving for Neil Della. Was a really good win over 1760 in a Class 2 with 60 kilos as well. And then dropped back to 1400 metres last start. Carried 61 and finished off really well behind a Modest. You probably wanted to see a bit more from that form reference earlier on today. There were 5 or 6 horses that were all coming through that exact same form reference race in race number 5 today. And Modest was probably the best of them and ran 4th. So the form didn't exactly get franked, but we do get a big bit of weight relief here, down to 57.5 kilos. Looked the logical danger for mine, number 6, More Than Enough. Number 7, Secret Attraction. Personally, I thought she was the best bet on the program today, but she's also $2.70 into $1.80. So not alone in that point of view. Very, very popular here, and now, as a result, very, very short. First 2 runs were down at Belmont Park before being purchased by the Ingalls family and now being raced with Peter Fernie up on the Goldfields. She was over a month between runs when dropping back to 1300 metres. Finished off really hard into second behind Kalita on a day where it was difficult to make ground. Better suited at a mile. Gets the services of Willie Pike. Looks the one to beat for mine. $1.80 now for number 7, Secret Attraction. Number 8, Passion Prince, who has had a reasonable preparation, including running 3rd behind Dance of Thunder going back 4 starts ago. Again, like Floppy was in the Tattersalls Cup last start behind Uncompromised. Hasn't won a race for closing in on a year and has actually only won once from 13 starts at the track. Goes around at $31 here after opening 16, so very easy in betting, Passion Prince. Number 9, Soldiers Camp, better suited back in grade today, and the senior rider goes on as well in Troy Turner. There was a run 2 starts ago, beaten 4 lengths by more than enough, drops 5 kilos off that, so gets a 2.5 kilo weight swing off more than enough, but was beaten to the tune of 4 lengths. 21 into 12 though, one to keep an eye on at odds, according to the punters, has almost halved in quote, number 9, Soldiers Camp. Number 10, Deal Red, hasn't won a race in over a year. Comes into this a month between runs, has only won once from 35 starts at Kalgoorlie, and is now a 9-year-old. Drawn wide, pretty tough galloper, but imagine he's going to have to do a fair bit of work here. He's at 80 to 1. Number 11, yes, of course, likely pacemaker. He has led up at his last 7 races, so he's on the fresh side as well. 31 days between runs, expecting Vicky Corver to have a licence from trainer Ricky Brown to allow this 5-year-old to stride in the middle stages and try and get them chasing from a fair way out. He's at $26. Number 12, Chang Man for Trevor Tasker and Chloe as a party. Tends to get a fair way off the speed, and I'd imagine that the races he's coming out of are probably lesser form than what he meets here as well. For that reason, goes around $126. The final horse here to preview, also in triple figures, is from the yard of Brian Curtis. He's an 8-year-old son of Mayada Cantor. His name is Dawn Enigma, and he's to be ridden by Lisa Staples. Drew barrier 9 last start, ended up settling at the rear of the field and never really made an impression, beaten more than 10 lengths. Looks a pretty similar setup here for him today, and he goes around at 100 to 1. We are 2.5 minutes away from the Willweld Handicap to round out the day at Kalgoorlie. To be alive in the quaddie, number 2, Don't Wait for Luck, into number 9, Colossal, into number 4, Admiration Express, and in the last, the shortest way home, surprise, surprise, is with Secret Attraction, who's into $1.80. I thought off her first run on the Goldfields, if she just held form, she'd be very hard to beat in this. She's a 2-time winner, it's over 1,800, once mile. So the fact that she's distance today is a big bonus. She gets Willweld. 7 for me, Secret Attraction. 6, more than enough. He gets 3.5 kilos off his back from last start, and he gets out to a more suitable distance range as well. They're both drawn to get really nice runs here. Neil Deller and Lakhdar Rumley team up for plenty of winners on the Goldfields. 7 from 6. 4, one more for Leo. Not quite sure where Clint Johnston Porter gets. He probably has to anchor out the back early and join a 3 or 4 deep moving line if there is to be one. Racing consistently and without a lot of luck, it must be said. And 1, It's a Lance. For a horse that goes around $23, you should get a nice soft run and close handy to the speed for Zeph Johnston Porter. Doesn't have a great turn of foot, so he will need a split at the right time. But hopefully he's right there in the finish. 7, 6, 4 and 1 are my numbers here in the Willweld Handicap. Chang Man's about to join the line. It'll be the first horse to go in. Highlights from today's program. Camera Action was a really good winner of a maiden earlier on and had Metro form against her name as well. Secret Style, a Justify mare, having her 3rd start on the Goldfields, produced her 3rd win as well. And obviously the feature victories today in the Sprint of Colossal and the Cup of Admiration Express. For those of you that are following along with Peter Fernie's season, he's now up to 58 winners for the year, only 3 off the record that he set in 2018 when he trained 61 winners. So he's getting very close now, Peter Fernie, to having a career best season on the Goldfields. My numbers are 7, 6, 4 and 1 in the last. Here's Royce Newton.
Thanks, Alex. Yes, as TAB Radio join us for the last here, the Willweld Handicap. 1,600 metres the distance. Favouritism with Secret Attraction at 190. William Pike in the saddle. Looking for a double. The feature, the Coolgardie Cup, taken out by Admiration Express in a brilliant finish. Starry Heights flying home down the outside, but Admiration Express too strong, had enough in hand. As Soldiers Camp joins the line, we're set to go from the mile. Stand by the Willweld Handicap. They're set, start to waste no time, and it was a good dispatch from the mile as well. From the inside, It's a Lance holding its position. Yes, of course, pushing forward, likewise with no whispering out wide. Between runners, we've got Passion Prince being followed next of all. Down on the inside to the favourite, Secret Attraction. Soldiers Camp working forward, trying to find a position. Then we had Changman, who's midfield. Prince Takia, who travels with Floppy the outside. A length and a half then to One More for Leo, covering up next of all More Than Enough. And at the tail of the field, it's Dawn Enigma. So they leave the 1,100 metres behind them. And it's No Whispering showing the way a length. Deal Red second. Third, Yes Of Course. Fourth, the outside, doing additional work is Soldiers Camp. They were followed by Passion Prince, and then we had the inside, It's a Lance getting a nice run. Changman was next midfield, followed by the favourite Secret Attraction, who's midfield the fence. One More for Leo next, Prince Takia. They were followed by Floppy. Then we had More Than Enough. Second last for Ramoli. And last of all, it's Dawn Enigma. 600 metres to run in the last, the Willweld. And it's out in front, No Whispering showing the way. The pacemaker leads out by that length, Deal Red. They were followed by Yes Of Course. Now, Soldiers Camp out wide, asked to improve, but it's had a torrid run. They were followed by Passion Prince. One More for Leo, tracking into it nicely. Secret Attraction needs to get its skates on. They were followed by It's a Lance. They straighten up. It's No Whispering in front. Here's Soldiers Camp down the outside. Soldiers Camp trying to level up with No Whispering. They were followed by Secret Attraction, who comes late. Secret Attraction for Pike over the top, and he'll go on and win the last. Secret Attraction, soft win. A length and a half the margin. Second in was No Whispering. Third, we had Soldiers Camp, big run. One More for Leo next, then More Than Enough followed by Passion Prince. Then we had It's a Lance, followed in next of all by Prince Takia. Then Yes Of Course, Dawn Enigma. Well back then to Floppy, and Deal Red was one of the last. Well, Secret Attraction has delivered one of the skinniest quaddies you'll see. 7, 2, 9 and 4 across the line. Secret Attraction, your winner, William Pike and Peter Fernie. That's 5 winners for Peter Fernie today. 5 in total. Pirates Alley, Secret Style, Zing to Win, Don't Wait for Luck, and now in the last, Secret Attraction. Number 7, your winner, defeats 2, No Whispering, who was in it for a long time. Big run by the 9, Soldiers Camp, backing up out of the Tats Cup. And 4 gets 4th. That's One More for Leo. 7, 2, 9, 4, 137, 18, the winning gallop for Secret Attraction, who another former Peters horse who is going oh so well on the Goldfields. That's 3 wins from 13 starts. Secret Attraction. Pike just took his time to get the horse into the clear, and she let down in devastating style. Hands and heels to the line. The Shillelagh Never Drawn, a very strong win. 7, 2, 9, 4, the interim numbers after the running of race number 8. Secret Attraction for Peter Fernie, William Pike by Savabeel from Impassioned, owned by Andrew Ingalls, Zach Ingalls and also Al Ingalls. Second in was the 2, that's No Whispering for Pete Fernie and Lucy Fiore. By Snippetson from Cardera, owned by Brandon Fiore and Mrs. C. Warwick. Third in was the 9, that's Soldiers Camp for Charlotte Skerritt and Troy Turner by A-Lot from My Classy Lady, owned by R. Robinson and C. Wilson. Fourth in was the 4, One More for Leo, Brett Drury and CJP. 7294 after the last will have correct weight to come.